Hi everyone, today we are going to be reviewing how we format our captions. That's something that I've seen a lot of us struggle with, and it's something that can never hurt to refresh how we write this. So let's look at this caption. It says, looking intently at the board, Emily Rustin, 8, is working on a math problem. Rustin is studying how to multiply fractions. I never thought I'd get this, but I kept trying and I got a 92% on the test, Rustin said. Okay, this is a great caption. It's written exactly how it should. And just to refresh, a caption describes what's going on in a photo, whereas a lead is the start of a news story. So I know we learned both of those. It's easy to get them mixed up. A caption always goes with a picture in the yearbook. Okay, so let's break this down sentence by sentence. The first sentence is describing what's going on in the photo. You're using that descriptive language to actually tell the reader what the person is doing. Okay, so this one's pretty easy. We're describing that the subject, okay, Emily, she's looking at the board. Okay, this isn't a very action-packed photo, but we still need to know what she's doing. So it makes sense in case the reader didn't know right away just from looking at it. So looking intently at the board, she is working on a math problem. We're describing what is going on in the picture. That's the first sentence. The second sentence, this is where we add more information that the reader didn't know before, or you can't exactly tell just from the picture. So from this sentence, we know that she's doing math, right? We knew that from the very first sentence, but now we know specifically she's multiplying fractions. It's a simple sentence. It doesn't have to be long, but it is telling us more things that we didn't know before about what was going on in the picture. Now, the last sentence, okay, this is a quote from the subject of the photo. Okay, the subject is the main person in the picture and who we go to talk to and interview in order to get a personal account of what was going on. What's important to know about a quote is that a quote is exactly what the person says. You cannot guess, okay? You cannot just think you'll remember what they said. You have to be writing down what they tell you in an interview. Okay? A quotation mark is exactly what the person said. This is the only time you will use first person in journalism because they're talking about themselves. You're not going to put in quotes, she never thought she'd get this, but she kept trying, okay, because she didn't use the word she. That person would have said, I never thought I'd get this, but I kept trying. They're talking about themselves. So inside of a quote, that is the one time it's okay to use first person. Okay, so that's a quick breakdown of each sentence, our descriptive sentence, our informative sentence, and our quote at the end. We always need those three sentences in our captions. I want to break it down even farther though. Okay, so let's go sentence by sentence. When we start with our descriptive sentence and we're talking about describing what's going on in the picture, we're always going to start with an ing verb. Okay, we are describing what is happening in the photo. So looking is our verb. What she's doing, you'll always look at the photograph and decide what is that person doing, and that's going to be the word you start off with. Looking intently at the board. Okay, we use that ing verb to tell people what she's doing. Looking intently at the board. Then we need to give our subject's first and last name, so Emily Rustin. Then we need to include their grade. And the way we do this is by putting a comma and then putting the number of their grade. So either for us, it'll be a 6, a 7, or an 8, and then another comma. And the reason we use both of those commas is because it's kind of a side thought. Okay, so we're just putting in almost like parentheses, just a little bubble like, hey, by the way, she's in 8th grade. Okay, so Emily Rustin, comma, 8 is working on a math problem. We just have to finish out that sentence. Then we start our second sentence, our informative sentence. I decided to start it with her name. but you'll notice I only used her last name. After we say someone's full name, from that point on, we only use their last name. Okay, and that's just to help save space on words and to help keep people apart. So Rustin is studying how to multiply fractions. Okay, always use their last name. Now we're going to get into the quote. You always start a quote by adding a quotation mark, okay, and you end it with one. Everything they say has to go inside quotation marks. If we don't have those, we don't realize that it's a direct quote. Now this is where I already talked about it a little bit, but you'll notice in this quote they use the word I 4 times. That's because that's what the person said, so it's okay. You'll notice I don't have first person anywhere else in this board. I'm not putting myself into the caption, okay, just in the quote, because that's exactly what the person said. Okay, the last part of our fraction, after our end quotation mark here, we have Rustin said. We have to always tell who said the caption. Okay, so Rustin said, we use her last name, and then this is just a tiny detail, but you always want to put the person's name before the word said, okay, because they're more important than the word said. A proper noun is more important than just a regular word. So Rustin said, or if I was talking and you were quoting me, you would say Smith said. Okay, so always do their name and then the word said, and of course end it with a period. Okay, our sentence is not done until we have that period at the end. So that is a better breakdown of our caption, a quick little review of everything that goes into it, those 3 sentences. Please refer back to this video anytime that you feel like you need to refresh how we write a caption. It's very particular, but it's for very good reason.